What's up, YouTube? It's Ryan from AnnihilatorMTG here, and we are back again with some more Vintage Cube. I'm pretty excited for this draft, so let's get straight to it. Okay, pack number 1, and honestly, because it's a little bit underwhelming, I feel like this is a toss-up between the Marsh, the Treachery, or either Signet. Obviously, the Workshop could be good, but I don't know if I necessarily want to go there. Treachery is more powerful. Marsh is mana-fixing. I think we're going to go with the Treachery. Okay, so I feel like we were rewarded a little bit here, which is nice. We'll go with a Liliana. So we have two incredibly powerful cards in a color combination that I am definitely a fan of. Dimir is quite fun indeed. And we have quite a few good options. Snapcaster Mage is obviously excellent. Frantic Search is good. Downfall is good. We can always go like a Hollowed Fountain if need be. I don't think we really want to do that though. So we go Snapcaster Mage. It's the most powerful and it goes really well with any Ancestrals we get, that kind of thing, or Time Warp. Scales very well with power. Alright, let's see here. Ashen Rider's good if we end up going the Reanimator route. In fact, Ashen Rider's quite good in that regard, and maybe that's just what we're supposed to do. Gideon Blackblade is obviously fantastic, but we're not exactly positioned to go blue-white. We might wield a Hollowed Fountain, I doubt it though, so maybe we just go Ashen Rider, and if we don't go Reanimator, or some variant of it, then whatever, we can just put it in the sideboard, kind of forget about it. I think that's what we do. Alright, well, here we have a Watery Grave, which I think we have to take. Recurring Nightmare is obviously good, but the mana is super important. We have a Sower of Temptation, that's very good. Sneak Attack is tempting, but I don't think we're going to go there. Yeah, let's just take the Sower for now. Alright, there's a Lightning Bolt, okay, and a Putrid Imp. I suppose the Imp is better for Reanimator, so we'll take it. Tasigur is interesting, although Dark Ritual has a ton of potential in this deck. Being able to Ritual into a Liliana is basically like a win on the spot, I feel, so we're going to take that. Not my favorite Ritual art, but it is what it is. So Elish Norn is a good reanimation target, so we'll take her. Okay, Opposition is an interesting choice, but I don't know if we're really going to be able to leverage that. If we get like a Bitter Blossom, it's very good. Mesmeric Fiend is a little bit less explosive, but it may be a little bit more consistent. That's tough. I think Fiend is kind of subpar, though, so I think we'll take the Opposition, and if it ends up not working out, then who cares? Like, that's not the end of the world. Okay, I don't think this pick matters too much, so we'll just take, I guess, the Freyalise, that's fine. Interesting. We'll take the Gideon, put that in the sideboard. Lotus Cobra, put that in the sideboard. Progenitus, not going to be able to use that. And this last card. Okay. Well, the tail end of pack 1 wasn't exactly captivating, but I'm actually fine with that. We have a lot of good cards here. It's very concise. Now we just need Reanimation and maybe a couple of other enabler cards. And we found a Mox. Good, 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 good. Always happy about that. Wish it was on color, but hey, I'll take it. Mana Leak is obviously very good. Repeal is nice. Deluge is very good, but I think we're gonna just take the Mana Leak. We have a Duress, we have a Cryptic Command. Oh boy. We also have a Thief of Sanity. Honestly, I think Cryptic is better than Duress, and it's my favorite card in the pack. And maybe in general, I love Cryptic Command. Let's see. Force of Negation's obviously very good. The Smokestack is very tempting because we have a Ritual and a Mox, so we can kind of bang that out quickly. However, having Cryptic, Mana Leak, Force just makes this deck unbelievably strong, and I think I kind of want to go there. I like having a good suite of counterspells. And there's a Daze and a Miscalc, a Creeping Tar Pit? Okay. Well, I'm going to take the Daze. Okay, this is very counterspell heavy. I like that. I like that quite a bit. Obviously, the Tar Pit would have been nice for the mana, but it is what it is. When I see a card like Daze, it's just like, it's more fun to me than a consistent mana base, despite the fact that a consistent mana base is more important. I don't know. We'll be fine. Alright, we got a Shriekmaw, a Confluence, a Palinchron, Yawgmoth. I think I'll take the Confluence. Yeah, this is unbelievably counterspell heavy, and I love that. Weirdly enough, this could be a decent mono blue deck, although I've never actually drafted that in Vintage Cube. I think the only thing I've ever gone in terms of monocolor has been green and red, I want to say. I don't think I've done mono white. Alright, Exhume is very good. Dare I say essential, actually, so we'll take it. The Liliana also enables our reanimation plan, so I think we have to take that as well. The Prowler is pretty good too, though, as is the Mole Drifter, but we'll take the Liliana. Pack Rat is a good way to keep things going. Deluge is very good. I like Repeal, but Deluge deals with problems very quickly, and that's kind of what we need to do. I guess we could take the Swords. Won't play it, most likely. Guess the Ooze. I guess the Elf. And this is basically the same thing as last pack. The final few picks just aren't really what we're looking for, and that makes sense because black and blue are very popular colors, so the likelihood of those being stragglers not very high. Oh, cool. You can take the Yawgmoth's Bargain. I don't think I've ever actually committed to playing this card, but if we have Mox plus Ritual, maybe I will. And a Wildfire. Alright, pack number 3, pretty excited. Hopefully we can get another piece of power, but if not, I'm pretty happy with how this is going. An Ancestral, a Control Magic, a Yawgmoth's Will, Sling Gang. Oddly enough, like maybe the Ancestral's the way to go. You could say that perhaps the Ancient Tomb is also up there, especially if we're going to be running the Yawgmoth's Bargain. I guess if we had the Smokestack, I would probably just Windmill Slam the Ancient Tomb, but I think because we don't, I'm just going to take the Vision. Alright, we've got a Shrine, a Push. Push is very good. Cleek is good too. Living Death is fine. I think it's a bit slow for what we're doing, so I think we'll take the Push. We need to survive. We have a Gush, a Shallow Grave, Tangle Wire. I think we have to take the Shallow Grave, despite the fact that Gush is just an absolute house. Grizzlebrand is phenomenal. Yeah, sure. Looter helps quite a bit, although Show and Tell is potentially also up there. I think I'll take the Show and Tell, just as kind of a backup plan. I don't know about that. Maybe that was wrong. We'll take the High Tide, although I don't think we're gonna play it. Although we could. We do have enough blue cards for that to be relevant, although we're not really going to be able to leverage it too hard. Yeah, maybe we could just move that to the sideboard. Oh, there's a Bitter Blossom. That goes well with the opposition that we just put in the sideboard. Huh. Imperial Seal is interesting, though. Imperial Seal is slow, but it might be good enough for what we're trying to do. Actually think I'll take that. I know the Bitter Blossom is probably better, but I kind of prefer that enabler type thing, or just finding our enabler. We'll take this card, won't play it. We took the Corpse Dance, that's fine. Yeah, things are coming together. They really are. I don't think the pick really matters here. I guess maybe Shrine. I don't think we'd play it, but in some fringe cases it could be useful. Oh, we wield a Gush? Oh, okay. That's weird. That's very strange. Stoneforge, I guess. That's wild that we wield this Gush. Probably not going to play the Yawgmoth's Bargain. Let's see. Definitely need to make some cuts. Just picking the stragglers here. Probably not going to play any of these cards, but that's fine. We have a pretty compelling deck list, I think. Alrighty, so here's the list. It's a pretty interesting Dimir Reanimator deck that I actually think is pretty darn strong. We managed to pull out a Mox Ruby, which is nice. It's not on color, but that's okay. I probably would have preferred a Sapphire or a Jet, but it is what it is. I'll never say no to a Mox. The rest of the deck, everything is pretty darn strong. We have plenty of counter spells, which is really cool. I love that type of magic. It's always a good time. Our reanimation targets are all relatively compelling. It definitely could be worse, for sure. Grizzlebrand, Ashen Rider, and Elish Norn. If you didn't know any better, you'd think, oh, this was like constructed in a way. And the only major complaint I have is the lack of Entomb and Reanimate. Those two cards properly being in the deck and not just being like pseudo effects with like Exhume, Shallow Grave, Corpse Dance, that kind of thing, is super important in terms of the power level of the deck. So we're really going to be leaning on the counter spells to buy us time to be able to put the pieces together and go from there. And I think we can definitely do that. I've played other variations of this deck in past months where it's just like, it's a little bit softer than this, and I've managed to go probably like 2-1 in those situations, so I'm honestly happy with the list. Without further ado, let's go to match 1. Alrighty, it looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend, and this hand is definitely soft, especially on the draw. Do not like that at all. This is better, but really not by much. I think we're gonna ship it one more time. Okay, yeah, this I can live with. Let's ship a Confluence and let's say a Swamp. Cool. We can start off with the Ancestral and then just hold up a Mana Leak afterwards. Our opponent goes Jet into Mountain, playing a creature. Gotcha. All right, let's suspend. I have a feeling in a matchup like this Ancestral is going to be a touch slow, but as long as we can survive, that's all that matters. This definitely might be an Elish Norn type of game. Although Grizzlebrand having lifelink is, oddly enough, very convenient for what could be a really hard aggro deck. So our opponent has a Taiga, but they chose not to play it, so that's interesting. They're just revealing information that they don't necessarily need to. So that's kind of cool, I suppose. All right, so we're going to hold up this Mana Leak. We have a Gush. We can't play it. That's okay. This is kind of the part of the game that really makes me nervous because we're just top decking for lands now, and that could potentially put us in a really weak position. So they play Experimental Frenzy. We're going to Mana Leak that. They get some prowess, though, so that's relatively important. And they even played a land that's not the Taiga, so maybe I'm just being stupid here. We managed to draw a Swamp, which is excellent, so we will Edict our opponent, make them sacrifice, and hopefully this means that we get to live to see another day by the time that the Ancestral pops off. And then from there, normally we can stabilize, but we'll have to see what our opponent does. If they kill the Liliana right away, I'll be a little bit nervous. They play a land tapped, and it looks like they're passing. That's very good. There's a Daze. Okay. Let's discard a card. And I think we're going to get rid of the Imp. And we're just going to hold up a Daze. They get rid of an Ancient Grudge. Interesting. Okay. They play a Jorga. That's fine. That's really not threatening. Not in the immediate time anyways. We can always Edict them if need be. That might be the move. However, we will Ancestral, drawing 3 cards. There's a Snapcaster Mage, good, and a Mox. Okay, so I think what's just objectively correct here is to, weirdly enough, Treachery this. Like, that seems really silly. I know it does. I totally get that. But it puts our opponent in such a position where they're just kind of frustrated, which is what we're going for. Let's uptick. And I think we'll ditch the Daze because we can go Snap Mana Leak. They discard a Crater Hoof. Okay. I think with a Liliana on the board, us taking away their ramp and a Snap Mana Leak in the wings, I don't really think we're in a scenario where our opponent is really threatening us with anything that we actually care about. Anything they play that's big, we can Mana Leak. Anything they play that's small, we can Edict or we don't care about. So that's pretty awesome. Coincidentally, we can also tap this for mana, which is wild. So, Casualties of War. I guess they didn't have that Taiga. I wonder what that was. I really need to pay attention to the cards that my opponent's playing. I think it was off of this? No, it was this. Exile the top card of your library. Oh, it was exiled. Okay, I'm an idiot. That's fine, though. Let's go... I guess we should just Daze, right? Because they have no mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, let's just Daze. I guess save the Mana Leak. Not that I expect to be able to play Snapcaster again, but that's fine. Okay. I think we just pass. All right, Corpse Dance. That's fine, I guess. Let's go... Do we want to just hardcast Gush? Sure. Okay, play the island because we could have a Cryptic in our future. We uptick the Lily, ditch a Swamp, and then swing in with a team. All right, our opponent is down to 16. They're in top deck mode. We have a pretty interesting board, and I think we're okay. They flash back the Ancient Grudge, so that's not their card from hand. 3 mana, Deretti, interesting. They create an artifact with Defender, sure. We can work with that. We draw a card, Imperial Seal. Now that's good. Let's Edict them. All right. Then what we'll do is attack the Deretti, swing in. This puts them in a position where if they want to -1, the Deretti dies. We'll play the Imperial Seal. Getting, I guess, Grizzlebrand is probably what we want, just for value. Then next turn, we can uptick the Liliana, discarding the Grizzlebrand and Corpse Dance it. Then just go from there. They create another Defender. They play a Gaia's Cradle. Sure. All right. So we're pretty much good here, I think. Let's uptick. Discard the Grizzlebrand. Let's go... Was that buyback 2? Sure. Guess I'll do that. Let's Corpse Dance. Nice. Okay. So I will then attack the Deretti, get some lifelink, pay 7, draw 7. Beautiful. That's very good, actually. Play a Swamp. I'll go Ritual, Lily, uptick, create a zombie, and I do not see how our opponent wins from here. I really do not, because we can just corpse dance the Elish Norn next. They play a land, which means they're doomed. Happy about that. Of course, we can just reanimate it with a Liliana. That probably is just better. Let's play a land. We'll uptick, get rid of the Norn, bring back the Norn. We're good. Sick golden color. Like that. All right, let's see here. 4/4, 4/7. That's summoning sick. 4, 3, 7, 11. Yeah, I think we're just going to swing in. I was just doing some math. All right, we swing in with a squad. They take 11. I do not see how they win from here. I can't even fathom a single card that would work. Because what we can do is corpse dance the Sower and steal whatever creature they play at instant speed, essentially nullifying whatever hasty attack they might have. They go Wheel. Well, I guess that solves that problem for them, and creates an entirely new one with a Force of Negation that we can just hard cast, and a Cryptic command as well. Well, that's fun. And they scoop it up. Excellent. Okay, sideboard time. Honestly, I think we can probably get away with just running this back. Okay, so this hand is decent. If this was a 3-mana Lily, I would definitely keep it. We can push, we can daze. We have a lot of ways to kind of buy time for ourselves, and if we do end up getting another land, then we'll be in a phenomenal position, but if we don't, then keeping this hand is needlessly foolish. We managed to do well with a mulligan last time, so we'll give it a shot here. This isn't bad, but it's not like, it doesn't do much. I'm gonna keep it, which I know is a mistake, just kind of inherently. We'll be able to suspend an early Ancestral, and hopefully we'll just top deck into better cards, and just kind of do like the mid-range control thing for the time being. And our opponent goes Raging Ravine. Alright, well there's a Force. That's good. We'll suspend and pass. So now we have a decent level of protection, which incidentally gives us extra time for our Ancestral, even if it's just, oh, our opponent plays a 2-drop or a 3-drop that we need to answer. What's good about that is it does waste a turn, which gives us time for the Ancestral. So I'm pretty happy about that. It didn't seem like our opponent's deck was all that fast, which is really, really good for us, because I feel like we're faster in certain scenarios, and we have the tools to be able to kind of do the control thing, which is awesome. So we'll play another Swamp, see what our opponent does. They go Mountain. What have we here? Dryad. Can't counter that, and honestly wouldn't care to. They play another land. Sure. Okay, down to 2 counters. There's an island, so we can hard cast the Force if need be, and that's actually a lot better. And we're just 2 turns away from both the Liliana and the Ancestral. So as long as we can survive, that's all that matters here. They swing in with a Dryad. They could have gone for the Raging Ravine and just got aggressive, and I almost feel like they should have done that. Whisperwood Elemental, now that's dangerous. Okay, that is definitely a threat that we're going to have to figure out a plan for. Shallow Grave. All right, we'll play a Swamp. We are in trouble here, certainly. If we can find an Elish Norn, I feel like we'll be okay, because that'll be able to kill the manifest creatures. But other than that, we might be in a bit of trouble here. They swing in. It might be worth it to bring in a Toxic Deluge for this matchup, now that I think about it. Our opponent goes Jorga, that's fine. They level up, they get another manifest, okay. All right, so here's what we've been waiting for. We get to draw 3. Okay, this is a start. Oh, this is a start indeed. Yes, it is. Okay, I've got monstrous plans for you guys. This is gonna be nasty. Holy crap. If this works out, I'm just saying, this is not skill, this is just me getting really lucky and seeing a nutty line with Shallow Grave, which, by the way, is unbelievably fun. But let's take a look. We're gonna ditch the Elish Norn, and I'm sure you guys already know what I'm thinking. They go Natural Order. Let's go Force, Pitch, Cryptic. Good. That saved us from a lot of grief. Let's see if they go for it. Oh my god, they do. This is great. Let's go Shallow Grave. Yes. Oh, this is great. This is so great. We block. All right. So that's taken care of. The Dryad is the only creature on their board left, and we're pretty much good to go. We have a mana leak in case they do anything stupid, a Sower of Temptation if their play is potentially dangerous, and a Liliana on the Crackback. Grizzlebrand. We're like not that far away from hardcasting that, interestingly enough. So let's go Liliana. Let's uptick. Okay, so we live to see another day, and that makes me very happy. They lightning bolt our zombie, which I'm not thrilled about, so they can get in to face for 6 damage. If this is a Bloodbraid Elf, we might be in trouble. It's not. Raging Ravine. Okay. All right. So will they just decide to blow up the Liliana? All right, they do. So at the very least, that bought us time. Like, I'm not too beat up about that. It's not great, but it could be worse. Knowing that we're just 1 mana away from hard casting the Grizzlebrand, I think it's just correct to go Sower, steal the Dryad, and then we can just hold up Mana Leak because we have the Dryad. And if they attack us for what? That'll be 5. Then, yeah, that's bad, obviously, but it's not the end of the world. They crack their Misty Rainforest. The thing I'm concerned about is them having some way to kill our Grizzlebrand if we do top deck another land. They play a land, okay. They go Duretti, so I think it's just objectively correct to go Mana Leak here. Even if they pay the 3, it kind of locks them out of other plays, which I'm happy about. Okay, good. Good. They create a 1/1 Defender. They've already used a Lightning Bolt. There's an Exhume. Boy. So that's not quite what we were looking for, unfortunately. Let's attack the Duretti with both. They block, no doubt. So we're guaranteed to take, what, 5 damage? That's not good either. The Renin 6. They go Wheel? No. You wouldn't. That's insane. That just helps me. Bro, what are you doing? That is such a silly idea. Oh my god. I literally think they just brought us back into the game. Like, full on. I was getting a little hopeless in terms of like just kind of mood and stuff, but wow. So we could just hardcast the Gush, which I guess is fine. Yeah, we'll still lose an island, but we would have lost it anyways, so who cares? So we'll just cast it. There's a Liliana, okay. They bring back the Strip Mine with a Renin 6. That's fair. They go Steve. Well, we'll do our best. There's a Fatal Push. Fatal Push is good. Let's go push on the Defender. Then I think we go Ritual into, I think we go Lily. Yeah, okay. This takes care of blockers. They get a land, that's fine. Sure. Then we go Snapcaster Mage, Shallow Grave, cast the Imperial Seal. What do we want to be on top? I guess the Confluence is probably important. As like a guarantee, we go Shallow Grave. All right, there's a Grizzlebrand. So let's go Renin 6, Duretti. We take out both Planeswalkers. The thing is, this is just me. We have the Counterspell that can also draw us cards, among other things, on top, which means we're basically guaranteed to draw it, which is good. I don't necessarily see a benefit in drawing with the Grizzlebrand, though, because we're going to get ourselves down to, what, like 8 life, and they have a Raging Ravine. Sure, we can block with the Snapcaster Mage, that's fine, but how important is that? God. Oh, this is tough. I really don't know what the correct move here is. I feel like we just pass. I feel like just having the life buffer is more important than drawing what is essentially going to be 90% lands, because we saw what was in our deck. So there's, in my opinion, there's really no point. We can't cast the 5-drop anyways, so that's fine. We're just going to leverage Daze, which we're probably not going to be able to use in any meaningful capacity, but we have a Treachery in case they play something huge that doesn't have haste and kills us, and Putrid Imp, I guess, as a threat, I suppose, which not very threatening, but if it gets the job done. Interesting, our opponent goes Casualties. That's rough. They go Strip Mine. Are we dead? They go Caryatid. That's fine. Blood Crypt tapped. Sure. I feel like we're dead. Putrid Imp, discard a card, it gains flying. I don't think we have the speed. I really don't. Yeah, I think we're just going to scoop it up. We're basically doomed. Oh, that sucks. Okay. So, Deluge is important, I think. That's a good card for sure. Anything else that we really care about? I don't think so. Geez, I don't know what to cut. Maybe cut an Imp? I don't know. Let's just submit. See how it goes. We have Pack Rat to be able to discard, and we have Liliana. We've got plenty of ways to actually get it done. So hopefully this will be enough. I'm a bit nervous. All right, we'll play first. Hopefully we have an explosive opener. Well, sort of. We can lead with a push, I suppose, or a swamp for the push, and go from there. All right. Hopefully they have an early play that isn't hand attack. There you go. All right, let's go Island. Pass. They go Forest. That's a Steve. Can't do anything about that. We're going to pass. Second island, okay. So now we can literally just hardcast Sower if we want. And it's actually not outside of the realm of possibility to do a semi-early hardcast Grizzlebrand, which is wild. That is absolutely insane. Because with the Dark Ritual, we have 5 mana at the moment. So we need, what, 3 more turns? Rotting Regisaur, eh? Okay. Do we just steal that? Yeah, I think we do. I think we do. All right. Thank you for the dino. What's wild about this Regisaur plan, though, is that I don't actually know if I want to discard the Grizzlebrand. Because, like I said, with these 2 lands, that's 6 plus -1, which is 5 because of the mana cost, and then the 3, which is 8. So we can literally hardcast Grizzlebrand in 2 turns. And that might just be worth it. It's not like our opponent's running counterspells, so we can immediately draw 7. So, yeah, I don't know about that one. Let's see what they do. Natural order. Oh, it sucks. Okay. What is this going to be? I didn't see a Progenitus, I didn't think. Oh, man. What a terrible way to go, if that's the case. Oh, is that it? Okay. Yeah. That's fine. All right. I do not care about that at all. Let's get rid of, geez. Oh, that's tough, isn't it? I guess the push. Okay, there's a Liliana. That's pretty compelling. Let's go Lily. Well, that makes discarding the Grizzlebrand an actual option now. We got rid of 3 mana Lily. That sucks. Okay, so we swing in with a 7/6. I assume they're just going to take it. Okay, so they're down to 13, which is nice. They immediately move to attackers. That's interesting. Let's block like this. Ooh, that was a wheel. Okay, well, that's one less thing to worry about. They go Jorga. All right, they level it up. They manifest. Okay. So, I guess we just gotta discard the land, right? Like, that's what we do? And if we top deck a land, then we can just cast it. Exhume. Interesting. Alright, create a zombie. Okay, well, that's good. We can go Exhume the Elish Norn or Exhume the Ashen Rider. If we Exhume the Rider, we can just exile this. That's pretty tempting. Sure. Let's just give it a go. And all they get is a Steve, which is just hilarious. Now, the thing about the Elish Norn is it takes out their manifest creatures, like, permanently. Sure. It's interesting that they would do that. That seems really silly. Actually, it doesn't make any sense at all, because what this does is these will die, which will cause 2 cards to manifest, which will then die. I mean, sure. I'm not going to pretend to understand what that was. Okay. Well, is what it is, I guess. Let's swing in. Manifest thing happened, and it immediately died. Man, Elish Norn is great. Okay, so they're at 9. We have an absurd board. If they kill the Sower, they get the Regisaur, but it immediately gets weakened, and they scoop it up. All right, that was a bit of a slog fest, but I really enjoyed how that match went. On to the next one. All right, looks like we found our opponent here. Best of luck to you, my friend, and we won the die roll. Let's see what we got. Imperial Seal, interesting. I think we'll keep this. Okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll go Swamp, Imperial Seal, put Liliana the Veil on top. The next turn we can go Ritual Island. What we'll do with that is be able to play the Lily and keep it protected with a Daze. So this is potentially very insane. This is going to be a very powerful sequence of plays. So we've got our island, so we're protected no matter what, even if they have some kind of like Spell Pierce type thing. Unless they have a Daze of their own and a Force and all this other crap, but I doubt it. So let's go Ritual. Lily, nice. Uptick. They immediately crack their Windswept Heath. Okay. They get a Breeding Pool untapped. Okay. Ancestral Recall. So we can just Daze that. Yeah. Okay. I'm in. Let's discard a Swamp. Now our opponent's down to 5 cards in hand. We have a Liliana with 4 loyalty. We managed to counter their Ancestral. That was a good turn. They go Shelldock Isle. All right. Let's go Island. Then we'll uptick. Dish a Swamp. They get rid of a Gaia's Cradle. Okay. All right, let's see what our opponent plays. Savannah. Okay. Little Bant action. Basalt Monolith. That's a good card. Okay. Mystic Confluence. Probably can't play that, so we'll just ditch it. Opponent discards an island. Good stuff. Okay, we pass. Just gotta survive and not have our Lily get absolutely destroyed. They play a Forest. Let's see what big card they play. Questing Beast. That's a tough one. All right. That's annoying. They do their thing. Either way. Let's see. Ancestral? Ugh. Okay, well, we're going to Edict, which is unfortunate. We'll suspend the Ancestral, and we'll just hold up a push. Our opponent has way more mana than us, so we're in a lot of trouble here. They go Harmonize. Ugh, disgusting. All right, let's get rid of you while we still can. Opponent goes Arbor Elf. We get a counter off of the Suspend. Treachery is not the card we were looking for. All right, see what our opponent does. We likely lost this. We really tried to leverage something incredibly powerful, but it just wasn't I guess it just wasn't going to happen. Oh well. At the very least, it was fun. All right, another counter off the Ancestral. At least we have lands now, so we've got 3 of those. All we can hope for is our opponent keeps drawing duds. I'm worried about the Shell Dock Isle, though. They're getting closer and closer to blowing us up with that. Whatever's underneath, anyways. Let's see what our opponent does. They go Elves of Deep Shadow. Okay. Watery Grave. Well, put that in tapped. Next turn, we get an Ancestral, which is really good. We just need to survive, which might be really hard. They go Grim Monolith, so they have all the mana under the sun, which is fine, I guess. We go down to 6. I'm pretty sure they can go Shell Dock at any point, so we need to worry about that. Oh, God, speaking of which. Frost Titan? Dude. Well, that sucks. All right, let's draw. Liliana. See what our actual draw is. Sower of Temptation. But it gets countered immediately because of the Frost Titan's ability. Gross. So I think we're just dead. Yeah. All right, we'll scoop it up. I think knowing that we're playing against a good amount of creatures, we could probably bring in a Deluge, maybe cut an Imp, and then just try again. Okay, we'll play first. We have days that we can't play, a bunch of creatures. This is not going to happen. Let's mulligan. This is decent. We can go turn 1 Pack Rat. Yeah, I kind of like that, actually. Let's ship a... Gush? It's probably wrong, isn't it? But whatever. We'll ship it. All right, they're at 6. Let's go Watery Grave untapped, then cast the Mox. Then we go Pack Rat. All right, let's see if we can muster up some strength here. All right, our opponent passes. I'm a little bit worried about an Ancestral, but what are you going to do? Let's activate the Pack Rat, discarding Liliana. Of course. Let's swing in. So the thing is here is we have strength in the Cryptic command, plus the fact that we have a Mox. Them doing what they're doing here isn't necessarily the end of the world, and I actually think that in many situations we're likely just going to be okay. I think we just attack, hold up Cryptic, just attack. Getting in for 4 is really, really good. We need, what, 3 more turns? We can definitely accomplish that. We can go, like, counter draw for more fuel for the Pack Rat, or we can go, like, counter bounce. All right, that's pretty interesting. Maybe counter draw is just best? Sure, counter draw. Please don't force me. Or daze. Nice. Ashen Rider. Well, we're fine to bin that. There's an Exhume. Interesting. Okay, let's activate the Pack Rat, ditch the Ashen Rider. Okay, now we swing in for 6. Okay, so they need to handle the board basically immediately, and if they don't destroy us with a threat, we can just exhume whatever they do happen to play, if they manage to also get rid of the Pack Rats. I don't think they're going to, though. So I feel like we have this, at the very least, soft-locked, which is cool. They go Krasis. We can deal with that. We can go Ashen Rider, or like exhume Ashen Rider, exile the Krasis, and be on our way. Or Shallow Grave is kind of cool. We can do that. Guess Exhume would have brought back their creature as well, so maybe there's the relevance to that. I didn't think about that. Either way, we're going to ship it back. All right, let's take a look at this hand. I like the Mox, I like the island, but if we don't draw a swamp, this kind of sucks. But I mean, I guess the thing is God, do we keep this? Oh, man. We get 2 looks at another land, and if it just ends up being another island, then maybe we're a little bit closer to the Cryptic command. Whatever, we're going to keep it. This could be bad. This could be very bad. Our opponent goes Breeding Pool untapped, and they go Elf. Sure. So, Mox, Island. I think we're just going to suspend the Ancestral while we have the chance. We don't get to hold up the Mana Leak, but that's okay. They go tap a green and then play a land. Fast Bond. Ugh, gross. Okay. Basalt Monolith. Jeez. If we can Mana Leak them when they have this much mana and it actually works out, dude, that'll be wild. All right, so we play an island. We're really just hoping for the best at this point. I am super nervous. They play a land. Are they just passing? So they just have, like, stone cold nothing? Can't be. There's no way. Wow, okay. So if we draw another island, we just have Cryptic, which is hilarious. We're 1 step closer with the Ancestral. Let's see. Imperial Seal. That's not at all what we want. All right, so we get to go back to being nervous. That's fun. They play a land, which they didn't play last turn because otherwise they just would have done that with a Fast Bond, I think. So I think that's an indicator that that is what they drew, if I'm not mistaken, which I could be. Either way, 1 more turn with the Ancestral. Maybe they just have counters in their hand? Ah, Dark Ritual, come on. Okay, this is horrifyingly nerve-wracking. All right, come on, please. Magic gods, don't betray me now. Channel? Bro. Well, if we draw a black source, we can Treachery the Blightsteel. We're going to Mana Leak this just to make them pay more life. You know, we actually have a chance of having this Treachery resolve. We really do. Because we get a shot with the Ancestral. Yeah, we might have a chance here. Alright, Ancestral. Let's draw 3. Oh my god, no. Well, actually, we can just go, we can go Cryptic Tap Draw. Yeah, I guess that's fair. We live to see another day, probably. So let's go... I guess we can just ditch the Ashen Rider, and then what we can do is... What else do we want to ditch? Geez, who cares, I guess. Let's go Pack Rat, I guess. So we can Exhume... Yeah, we can Exhume the Ashen Rider, which is nice. So tap all creatures, draw a card. I assume they don't have a counter spell. Plus we have a Daze just in case, and there's the Swamp. Looks like they play a land. All right, this is it. Another Swamp. All you got to do is believe. So the question is do we just go Exhume? Because this way, it's very much one-sided. I think we do, because God forbid they find some way to get rid of the Treachery. We're just toast. Beyond toast. All right, Ashen Rider, exile, yield, untap the Monolith. They had me nervous there for a second. I don't like that. So now we just have a Daze. They've got a bunch of mana. Their channel's down, not that they really need a channel at this point, and we can always just go Treachery with whatever they play. Upheaval. Okay, that's fine. They have a fast bond. All right, here they go. Well, that was infinitely annoying. Luckily, we can go Daze, not that I think that's all that good. So what can we do here? Well, let's play the Mox either way. We can dump the Ashen Rider, which is fine. I guess we can just play Island, hold up Daze, dump the Ashen Rider. Sure. I guess that's the best we can do at this point. And then we'll dump a bunch of other stuff. Sure. Okay. So we have a Daze that's likely not going to do anything because they have as many lands as they want. And they're going to continue attacking with this elf. Okay. So we can Corpse Dance. Is there an argument to be made about going Ritual Corpse Dance so we can buy back? Actually, I think there is. All right, Ashen Rider, target the Monolith. We have a Daze, which is actually relevant now because they're going to be running out of resources hard. Unfortunately, we don't get the second trigger because it doesn't die. They're at 2 life. Okay, there's a Swamp. Now, the question is what do we do here? I think we literally pass, hold up Snapcaster Mage for the Mana Leak, and assuming they attack with the Elf, we have a 2/1 that we can attack with and close out the game. They play a tap land. Beautiful. They swing in. I love it. Plus, we have Daze. Snapcaster. Target Mana Leak. We have a 2/1. We untap. Nice. Let's go Island, I guess. Move to attackers. And we've done it. Oh my goodness. All right. Another tense one. Final match. Let's see if we can close this one out. Alrighty, we won the die roll. Best of luck to you, my friend. Let's see what we got. We have Gush, Ancestral, Corpse Dance. This is actually a half decent hand in terms of like control and whatnot. And since we're on the play, this Ancestral is really good. Obviously, if it was a real Ancestral, this hand would be perfect. But I think we're fine with what we see here. Of course, we're a little bit nervous in certain matchups, but other than that, I think we're going to be okay. Looks like our opponent went down to 5. All right. Let's hit yes and go Ancestral and pass. Let's see what you got, opponent. They go Swamp and Soul Ring. Brutal. Into a Dimir Signet. Well, they've got pretty much everything they could want. That's really unfortunate. A bit disheartening, to be frank. So we have access to about 4 mana, which could potentially be useful in the future. We just need another land. Of course, 4 mana counting the Dark Ritual is what I'm saying. So if we get like an Island or something like that, or just even another Swamp, we can go End Step Ritual Gush, which is fine. They go Dark Confidant. Okay, interesting. And then a basic Swamp. All right. So they have all the mana they can ever want and a phenomenal card advantage engine. So that's a bit disheartening. We draw a Putrid Imp. Ugh. Okay. Well, that sucks. Let's play the Imp. And I guess we'll pass. Best thing we can hope for now is we draw like an Ashen Rider or a Grizzlebrand or something like that. We can dump it, Ritual, Corpse Dance, and then move on from there. What did they get? A Vampiric Tutor? Ah, that's rough. Ah, okay. I see. Great minds think alike, I suppose. I can't imagine our opponent would swing in with a Dark Confidant. I think I'm going to let it through, actually. All right, let's see what we draw. Come on. Counter off the Ancestral Vision. Draw a Shallow Grave. Well, that's good, but that's not really what we want. Oddly enough, though, what's cool about that, there's a unique thing about that. I guess we could have done it with the Corpus Dance as well. What we can do is at instant speed, we can just ditch the Sower of Temptation and then use either the Corpse Dance or the Shallow Grave to essentially defensively leverage kind of a way to stop our opponent from using whatever they choose to reanimate. For instance, if they have some kind of Eldrazi, like an Ulamog, 10-mana Ulamog, not the Annihilator one, the 10-mana one, we can kind of work around it like that. But again, unfortunately, if it's a situation where it's them playing with a Grizzlebrand, they're going to get value no matter what. That's unfortunate. Well, we'll see here. Let's discard the Sower. Let's Shallow Grave. So we're going to make our opponent either draw a bunch and put them in a dangerous level of life total, or just get rid of the Grizzlebrand. Okay, good. That's nice. That's very nice. And we get an Ancestral. Okay, so we're actually in a decent position. Okay, that's real good. I like where this is going. Let's discard the Ashen Rider. Let's play an island. Let's go Ritual. Corpse Dance, no buyback. And they scoop it up. Oh boy, I did not think I'd get out of that one. All right, let's resubmit and see if we can close this out. Holy smokes. Okay, this is rough because it is such a tempting hand with this force. Ancestral, that's very good. I guess this is actually probably decent to keep because we can stop our opponent from reanimating very early with this force, and we can get an early Ancestral off as well. And if we top deck a land, then we're actually going to be in a decent position. If not, we're basically playing the same game we did last turn, or last game rather, which we managed to pull out a win for. So cool. All right, they go Swamp, Vampiric Tutor. Okay, we're fine with that, I think. We'll pass. All right, land off the top one time, or multiple times would actually be great. Treachery, not a land, but it's something we can feed to the Force, which I actually like. Although maybe feeding the Mystic Confluence is just better, but we'll have to see. We'll play it by ear. They go second Swamp, Soul Ring, sure. Putrid Imp, okay. So what's good about this is our opponent is using a lot of cards to set up the potential chance for a reanimate attempt, but what's cool about this is if they don't have very many cards to actually do that with, Swamp, that's awesome, what we can do is just counter the 1 or 2 reanimate attempts, and then they have basically nothing. So drawing that Swamp is absolutely huge because now we can do a mana leak instead of a force if need be. We've got nothing but options at this point. They draw Bazaar though, which is pretty nice. They discard a Grizzlebrand. So they've got a total of 4 mana available. They go Animate Dead. Let's mana leak. They can't pay 3 because Bazaar does not tap for mana. That is basically a spell, or an enchantment, I guess. They've got 1 card left in hand. If it's another reanimate type effect, we can just force it, and then we're good. The downside here is Exhume is inherently much worse because they have a Grizzlebrand. So we're going to have to play this very carefully. With that said, if we just play the waiting game here, that might be okay. We draw Swamp. We've got 2 counters left on the Ancestral. Us drawing lands is probably the best possible thing. So they go Corpse Dance. Let's force it. I think we're going to ditch the Treachery since I don't expect them to have a lot on the board in terms of value. That's great. They attack, no problem. So let's take a look. 1 counter off the Ancestral, only 1 left. Let's go Imperial Seal. That's probably the best thing we could have found. So what do we want here? Honestly, I think Liliana the Veil is probably the best card we could put on top. I really do. So our shields are going to be down momentarily, but we took out 2 of their reanimate effects already. The only thing we need to really worry about is them playing upwards of a 5-drop, which means if they have the 5-mana Lily, that's bad. They go Ophiomancer. That's really not what we wanted to see, because that adds a lot to their number of creatures to protect themselves from the Edict. not good. Either way, we'll yield. At the very least, we get an Ancestral. So we get to draw 4 cards this turn, 3 off the Ancestral and 1 regular. Beautiful. There's almost no point at all in playing the Liliana if they're just going to sacrifice the snake and then bring everything back, which is just really annoying. So I think we can probably just pass. We might try to just punk them out with Snapcaster Mage Mana Leak. Like, that's fine. See what they do. Okay. We go Snapcaster Mage. We'll be able to block the actual Ophiomancer, so no more snakes for them, unless they have some way to deal with this. We target Mana Leak, which we can either play or not, and that's fine. We block the Ophiomancer, so we only take 2. Let's draw Corpse Dance. So, cards like Mystic Confluence are definitely in play now. I think we'll likely just hold that up. Them having 2 damage a turn isn't really that important for now. They have 2 cards in hand. They swing in for 2. See if they do anything. All right, I think legit I'm just going to go draw 3. Just get like a 5 mana Ancestral, see what happens. Potentially very good. So we can go Liliana into Corpse Dance. Yeah, I think I like that a lot. They already have a way to fuel their graveyard, so I don't feel bad about upticking like this. Let's go Corpse Dance. Oh, wow, and they scooped it up. Alrighty, and there you have it, another Vintage Cube League in the books. Dimir Reanimator really is quite something, and this deck is popular for a reason. It is powerful and a lot of fun. One of my favorite aspects of the archetype is some of the defensive maneuvers you can pull off with the instant speed reanimation effects, like Shallow Grave. Being able to bring back an Elish Norn or Massacre Worm to kind of do this pseudo board wipe and then block their toughest surviving creature is just awesome. It was really fun to play this deck. As always, I want to thank you all for watching. It means the world to me. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. You guys know the drill. Stay safe out there and have a good one.